Greetings, Nick with Sweetwater here, and today we're going to be taking a quick look at this cool looking and extremely cool sounding red, white and black box in front of me, the Friedman amplification IR-J, the Jakey Lee signature 2-channel dual tube preamp. Now, if like me you're a fan of groundbreaking rock guitar, Jakey Lee needs no introduction. Jake joined Ozzy Osbourne in the early 80s, and his catchy riffs, creative rhythm work and fiery leads quickly catapulted him to deserved guitar hero status. Then, after his time with Ozzy, Jake formed Badlands, a brilliant yet oft-overlooked hard-driving blues rock outfit that made 2 great albums. And, in more recent times of course, Jake has the equally excellent Red Dragon Cartel. The IR-J joins the critically acclaimed Friedman IR-X and IR-D units, and, just like its two older brothers, it can be used in several ways, all of which will be touched on shortly. As the IR-J's dual tube preamp name tells us, it houses a pair of 12AX7 preamp tubes and a trio of Dave Friedman's favourite 4x12 cabinet impulse responses. Furthermore, these 2 dual triode tubes are not just there for show either. They're not merely pilot lights. No sir, the IR-J is the real deal. It's a genuine high voltage all tube 2-channel preamp, just like the ones in Jake's signature all tube Friedman heads. And, if that's not enough, it also boasts a series effects loop, a power amp simulation on the DI output, and an adjustable Footswitchable boost, one for each channel. The flavour of said boost? That good old green classic, the Tube Screamer. And talking of the internal power amp simulation, there's free editing software available you can download. This extremely intuitive software lets you do a bunch of cool things, including 3-way adjustment options for presence, thump, and low pass for each channel. Nice! Just like Mr. Lee's signature Friedman heads, the IR-J's 2 channels deliver the coveted tones Jake is so rightly renowned for. In keeping with the guitarist's penchant for thick, British-flavoured 70s blues rock, Channel 1 is a great sounding, great feeling old school plexi style amp. Think Badlands, my friend. Think Badlands. was a little sloppy, but you get the picture. That's channel 1, my friend, and I could literally sit here all day and play my favorite rock riffs from the 70s, plus the late 60s and early 80s. And just like all great plexis, channel 1 has a great clean and push clean sound too, which you heard in the intro. In fact, to show this aspect of the channel off further, I'm going to ask my pal Don Carr to play us out in a minute, so stay tuned, my friend, stay tuned. As for channel 2, well, that's basically a hot-rodded, skull-crushing JCM 800. Think the 80s, and think Jake's fire-breathing tone during his time with the Prince of Darkness. Get the picture? Yes, sir. This pedal is quite literally Jake in a box. Sorry, I couldn't resist that simply dreadful pun. Shame on me. Let's take a quick look at the features of this pedal, shall we? As you're about to learn, the amp-like layout of the IR-J's top panel is extremely logical. Each of its 2 channels has independent controls for the following, going from right to left: gain, bass, middle, treble, volume, and boost volume. Also, in between the boost and volume controls on each channel, there's a mini 3-way toggle switch labeled Cab IR. This obviously allows you to choose one of the IR-J's 3 preloaded cab IRs. And, by the way, you can load your own IRs too if you so wish. Both channels also have a 3-way mini bright switch just to the left of the gain control. And channel 2 also has a gain switch, should one feel the need to go to 11. And I know I invariably do all the time. The IR-J also houses 3 foot switches labeled channel 1, channel 2, and boost. And whenever a channel is selected, a bright blue LED on the left-hand side of it glows. Here's channel 2, and here's channel 1. And when you hit the boost switch, the red LED on the right of the channel you're on glows too. There it is on channel 1. The function in smaller letters right above each switch tells you what it'll do if you hold that switch down for a while, as opposed to just stomping on it for a split second. Long pressing the channel 1 switch will bypass the IRs, which is perfect if you're using the IR-J on stage via the effects loop return of your amp. Long pressing the channel 2 switch will bypass the effects loop, and doing the same on the boost switch will store certain settings on the current preset to an active MIDI number, should you be going the MIDI route, of course. And when a preset is saved this way, the 2 red boost LEDs light up, just like this. I've just saved that. Just so you know, MIDI won't recall the unit's knob settings, but it can store and recall the following things: channel selection, boost on or off, FX loop status, active or bypassed, channel cab IR selection, namely 1, 2, 3 or bypassed, and also via the software I mentioned earlier, presence, thump and low pass selections for the chosen channel. Talking of MIDI switching, that's exactly how I did the switching on the intro, via my 4-way Soldano Astro switch which sends MIDI. Let me quickly show you just how easy it is to save a MIDI setting. Button 1 on my Soldano foot switch calls up channel 1 with the effects loop activated and various other things I selected. Let's quickly change to the following, shall we? Channel 2 with boost on, and also the effects loop bypassed. I've just done a long press on that button, so now the effects loop is out of there. Then all I have to do, now that I'm satisfied with that, is hold this down, and hey presto. Now button 1 on my Soldano Astro foot switch will always call up those settings, until I decide to overwrite it, of course. I obviously don't have anything in the effects loop right now, but as you saw in the intro, I did have my Andy Timmons Keeley Halo in the loop and used it on 2 of my 4 presets via the extremely useful loop active or bypass option. The rear panel boasts the following: input jack, effects loop send and return jacks, a balanced output with a ground lift switch, a mini headphone output, a MIDI input, and a USB port, plus of course the connection for the power supply the unit comes with. The USB port allows you to perform any software updates. It also lets you externally program the unit via the aforementioned downloadable Friedman IR-J editor, which, by the way, costs $0.00, plus tax, of course. One more cool feature to show you and then we're out of here. On the right hand side of the IR-J there are adjustable volume and tone controls for each channel's internal foot-switchable green flavored boost pedal, adding further to the IR-J's tonal flexibility and user friendliness. And there you have it, my friend, a quick overview of the Friedman J.K. Lee signature IR-J dual preamp pedal, which has tubes in it. It's great for recording and gigging, and like all wonderful guitar gear, it's really easy to use and sounds great. In fact, it inspires you to play. You can go really deep with the free software and MIDI, or not. In my humble opinion, this unit is great right out of the box. Just plug in, turn a few controls, click a switch or two, and you are ready to rock. For more information on the IR-J, please go to sweetwater.com, or better still, call your always helpful and oh so friendly sales engineer. That said, enough of my nonsense. As promised, here's the one and only Mr. Don Carr to play us out with some stellar clean stuff with this fine unit. Take it away, Don, my friend. Take it away.